like it says, I'm here. The plan for the day is just to go up to right to the edge of Wind Cave National Park and Custer National Park. I won't be able to camp again for another 10 miles into Custer, so since it's already early afternoon, we're just going to do a short day today of about 5.5 miles, somewhere around there. Ivy or buffalo? I chose poison ivy. Well, I made it safely past Mr. Big Bison there. The problem is my trail, I believe, is all the way down there. So I guess we'll head that way. So much poison ivy. Well, there's not a whole lot I'm going to do about it. I'm just glad I bought the Benadryl. I found a cave. So much new growth after the fire. Looks like they've been busy. The trail's a little tricky around here, but fortunately the trail markers are pretty easy to spot with it being open. Been a couple times, been a little confusing, but I've just kind of gone up high and looked around, and usually I can find them. I'm really glad that I don't need water. I packed enough for the first day so that I wouldn't have to filter is a good thing because this really looks nasty. I am very happy to see that. Going through pretty much all of the prairie dog town, all it was marked as 6, which I knew they paralleled for a while, but I wasn't sure how long, and I was getting a little bit worried. I do have a map, and I also have trailheads marked on my inReach, so I knew I was going basically the right direction. I was just really hoping that I was still definitely on the Centennial Trail and not off on another trail. Well, I'd say it's definitely time to start looking for a place to camp. I seem to have almost come to the end of Wind Cave here. I didn't mean to come quite this far, but I'm sure not going back, so we're going to figure something out. Nothing like setting up your tent listening to the coyotes. Very, very close. Well, I survived my first day of solo hiking. We just get to see if I survive the night. So far, I'm honestly not a fan of this, not really having an established campsite, just setting up wherever. I'm not 100% sure I'm even in a legal campsite. I think I am. I'm not sure. I know I'm still in Wind Cave National Park. I did not cross over into Custer. The hiking's been good. Lots of wildlife. I enjoy that. And maybe I'll change my mind on this backcountry stuff as I get further in and maybe find better places to camp. I'm definitely a lot closer to the trailhead than I wanted to be, so, which was my fault, kind of, but there just wasn't any good place to stop. All I saw was rocks and poison ivy, and that wasn't really where I wanted to set my tent, so. But so far so good. Had a good dinner, spaghetti. And I'm tired. I'm hoping to get up and get moving early. I think it's going to be another really hot day tomorrow, so not much of a morning person, but I definitely have the motivation to not hike in the heat. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Packed up and ready to go. As soon as the sun popped up over the hill, you could already feel it starting to warm up. It is definitely going to be a warm one today. So we're going to get going and see if we can get most of our hiking done before it really gets hot. Apparently I've already got the prairie dogs wound up this morning. Had one bison wander through, fortunately not too close. I'll let you know if we see anything more interesting. This ends first stage, I guess, the first hike out of the book. I'm here, and today we're going up to French Creek, so we're going to go all the way up to here. About 9 miles. It's supposed to be a good trail, so we'll be starting into Custer State Park. Entrance to Custer. That's quite a gate. I guess they mean business. Kind of feels like I'm entering Jurassic Park here. Hello, little bunny. How are you this morning? Pretty, but I cannot tell you how nice it is not to be tramping through thigh-deep weeds and poison ivy. Otherwise, I'd have probably kept going straight. Another gate. Hopefully I don't struggle quite as much with this one. The last one was a little bit tricky, mostly just because it was heavier than I expected, but anyway. Sounds like I got another chipmunk upset with me. Not chipmunk. Sounds like I have another groundhog. No. Sounds like I have another prairie dog upset with me. That's it. So I passed a sign just a little ways back that said, please stay on trail, which I would be very happy to do. But I'm having a little trouble figuring out where the trail is. Yay! Found the trail! It is very, very hot already. But that's why I wanted an early start, because I don't want to be doing this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I knew there would be an uphill open area, so we're trying to get this knocked out before it gets to be the 90 plus it's supposed to be today. Well, you can't see them from this vantage point, but I'm going to take a guess that there's a herd of buffalo, or something anyway, on the other side of these trees. Sure are a lot of people interested. There they are. Thankfully a good distance from the trail. There's actually probably a dozen or more. Some of them are just kind of hard to see. You just stay over there. That'll be just fine with me. Well, I was going to take a lunch break here, but they seem to be moving in, so I think I will be moving out. I have buffalo behind me, and a really annoyed deer in front of me. What to do? Well, clearly I wasn't as far as I thought I was. My inReach shows I've gone 8 miles, but according to the guidebook and the map, this spot would make it 7. And I think more up. Just got my permit paid for, but it's a good thing I brought a pen with me because there was nothing to write with in the form box that you need to fill out. Not good planning, probably. I don't know how my backpackers actually carry pens with them. Alright, time to find a place to camp. So I was going to camp here. I mean, it looks like a pretty spot, relatively level, but unfortunately full of rocks and sticks and poison ivy. And I got looking at my map, and I saw that there's a primitive campground, as far as I can tell, maybe 1.5 miles from here. I have to go off on a spur trail, which will add a little extra mileage, but having a good, comfortable place to sleep would probably be worth it. So that's the plan, unless something else jumps out at me that just is a perfect spot I can't pass up. So I will let you know what I decide. You can sure tell how high the water's been not too awful long ago. Not like in the heat, but glad to not be dealing with floods. French Creek. The water crossing. Went to about mid-thigh. Got my capris a little wet, but not too bad. Actually felt kind of good. Crossing number 2. I'm glad I left my sandals on. So I did decide to go for the primitive camp, which means yet another water crossing. Maybe even one more after that, I'm not really sure. But you know what, I'm getting kind of good at it, so practice makes perfect, I guess. Well, I'm honestly not sure if I found the backcountry campsite or not. This seems to be where it's at on the map. There are some trails that kind of come off towards the river. So I'm guessing that it is, it's just really not used. Which is too bad because it has a lot of potential, but for me, definitely not worth the hike because I'm still setting up in high weeds and poison ivy and whatnot. I tried to miss the poison ivy as much as possible, but we'll see in a few days. I have a feeling I'm going to be covered. But it is peaceful. There is water. I don't know how easy it is to get to because honestly I didn't wander down there. I was lucky enough to be able to fill up at the horse camp. They were still open for business, which was very, very nice. So it's been a long day. Went further than I intended to. Got a nice crescent moon. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Probably not. Oh, there it is. So I am actually going to turn in early. Tomorrow is Legion Lake, and I have a campsite reserved, so I am super excited about that. And the lodge has food, so my goal is to get there in time for a really good dinner and a shower. I will see you in the morning. Slept pretty good, which is good because I kind of had a rough day yesterday. I think it was the heat. I don't know. I was really frustrated about trying to find a place to camp. This place turned out to be pretty good once I got past all the tall weeds and everything. Decided since I didn't eat last night, I'd go ahead and cook some breakfast this morning, have a little bit of coffee, so moving a little bit slow, but should be back on the trail here shortly. While I'm thinking about it, I realized when I was at the hotel that I had not packed my cup. So fortunately, the hotel was nice enough to provide me with a cup to take on my trip so I could have my coffee this morning. So I have another "You Are Here" sign, and here is right here. And I'm going all the way up here to Legion Lake Campground, which will put me about 2/3 of the way through Custer. Short day today, about 5 miles, and looking forward to a shower and hopefully dinner at the lodge. So I will check in later. Knowing what I know now about the primitive camp, or lack of, I think honestly I probably would have just camped right here. Nice flat spots, every bit as good as where we were, where I was. Might be a little tricky getting 100 feet off the trail, but I bet if you look around you could do it. Alright, so I've had some confusion here. This has been a long, steep climb. And when I looked at my topo map on my inReach, it was showing that I missed a turnoff. I was super bummed. I actually started back down the hill and found the Centennial Trail sign. So I started back up, still finding signs, and they look fairly new. And I know by the guidebook there was a reroute. So I'm guessing the trail that is actually on the inReach map is not up to date. I'm hoping anyway, because I sure am not going back down. We're going to keep going forward, keep following the trail signs, and hope for the best. For the backpackers watching, at the top of that long, steep climb that I was talking about, that I'm assuming is the reroute, some nice flat areas that probably would be a good campsite. I would definitely do this rather than try to head for that primitive camp. And I found out this morning that I went probably a mile off trail before I found a place to camp, heading for the primitive camp a half-mile away. I'm really, really glad to see this little creek. Normally I really don't go through water that much, but I ran out coming up that big hill. This heat is just really doing me in, I think. So we're going to take a break here. Got a little spot in the shade just up the trail, and I'm going to filter and get a long drink. The water really doesn't taste that bad, just filtered, but I added some electrolytes just because I figure I probably need them. I think tomorrow it's supposed to cool down, so I'm really hoping.